Hello! This is definitely not filmed right after Black Boys Rambos, and the reason you know that is because, look, I've got a hat, so it can't possibly be the same day. Hat off. How are we all? Hope you're keeping well. This is going to be a quick review of Woven Superblend. I've just been drinking it since I've recorded the last video. I'm going to do another wee top up. As I mentioned in a previous video, this was gifted by Pete for the tasting. There's a little bit left. So I don't feel bad that all of it wasn't used, but I will donate a tenner for the privilege of having it. It's very good. So that's the review. Now, what I wanted to do was just talk about it a little bit, and I had to pull it up on my phone because it doesn't really say much on the bottle about it. It says it's 46.1%, 50 cl, so people can be a bit funny about 50 cl bottles, but look at it. It's great. It's like a really fancy designer soap bottle or something. And I've seen it on other people's shelves, and I've seen the way that they're branding it and styling it, and it looks really bang on, and it's not targeted at the traditional whiskey consumer. But don't let that fool you. It's very good. I think I've said it's good about 8 times. I'm just reading on the back here. So what is Superblend? A blend of whiskies of different origins where we start with whiskey from Scotland, but that's not where the journey ends. A new breed of distillery from England and Germany, an experimental project in the US, a maverick Irish producer with rebellious spirit, each cask chosen solely on flavour. This is whiskey, free from all geographical constraints, blended across borders. The result is a rich, textured whiskey that is greater than the sum of its parts. And then they have a little scale in the back that goes fresh, balanced, complex, exploratory, and it's maybe 1/5 of the way in from balanced towards complex. And this one was blended and bottled in England. Just if that couldn't make it even more diverse. Superblend. Now, I pulled it up, before I get into the tasting, I pulled up what that composition was. So there's 9,800 bottles of this batch. There is Loch Lomond single malt, 6 years in it. There is Campbelltown single malt, 5 years. Now, I'm going to hazard a guess that that's Glen Scotia, just with the Loch Lomond in there. There's a Speyside blended malt, peated, 9 years. Sorry, the Campbelltown was 5. The Loch Lomond was 6. There is English Distilling Company in there. There is George Dickel Sour Mash from the US in there. There's some NGP, Indiana Bourbon, 7 years. The George Dickel was 11 years, and the English is 9. St. Killen Single Malt from Germany. Can't say I've ever even heard of that, personally. And then there is a 13-year-old Irish whiskey, and that's undisclosed. And then they've got this little map in there. It kind of, go to the site and you'll see it, but it's like one of those kind of heat map graph type things. It's malt, fruit, a little bit floral, a little bit woody, leans away from smoke, a little bit of funk, which is, I would assume, is coming from the Glen Scotia, the kind of Campbelltown funk that you get in there. But should we dive in? Should I try and do this? Let me see. On the nose, fruity, light. I'm trying to think. I do this trick when I'm tasting. I shut my eyes and I see where it takes me. I like to go to a place. It's almost like when you were at maybe a tuck shop as a kid or a candy store and there's the gummies in front of you. Kind of get that fruitiness off it. It's not floral fruit. It's very kind of not, and it's not super confectionery either, but it's just in that nice mid spot. The mouthfeel's great. I hate using the term smooth, but it just has this nice viscosity to it where it doesn't challenge you. So when you take it in and you have that initial sip and you drink it, you're kind of surprised. You're like, okay, that's smooth, it's easy going. But then it comes back and it kind of sits on the midpoint of the palate and your tongue. And there's a little pepperiness, there's a little oakiness, a little woodiness in there. You get that fruitiness, You get, I'm not being too precise in my notes. I can only apologise, but I'm working with what I've got. You get that Glen Scotia funk. I definitely feel like that comes through a little bit. The peatedness, that smokiness it's kind of lingering. I'm really it's really hard to pin down. See on the back of it, the balance complex, I get it, because it is very well balanced. And it kind of sits there. But the complexity to it, for me, I'm trying to unpick it now. I don't know if it's because I've had a couple of them now, like tonight, that I've kind of, my palate might be a little bit dry. Let me maybe try and reset it a wee bit with a wee sip of water. Okay, here we go. Now, I stand by what I said. There's, on the nose, you get the sweetness, this lightness, but this, I just pictured being in front of a specific area in a childhood shop that had all the penny sweets, the gums and that kind of sweetness that comes off it, but not overpoweringly sweet because it's in the rest of a shop. And then on the taste, the finish is great. The finish lingers, and it lingers, and it coats the tongue, and it burns, and I know we need to get back to the start, but it's just very good whiskey. Like, I know the guy that makes it, but it's really good. And then I've realised the reason it's bottled in England, blended and bottled, is because of the definition of what it is and what they were doing with the different whiskies. They had to leave Scotland to do it. I think this, I want to check how much this retails for. This sells for 40 quid, 45 on Woven's website, 40 quid on Grunt and Growler, 40 quid on the Leaf Export Company. I would love somebody else to buy this and tell me what they think, because it's really good. I have a friend's birthday coming up. I'm going to give him a sample of this, like a decent wee wallop of it, and see what he thinks, because it's very different. Very different. So my review of it is, it's very good, but trying to explain why at this moment in time, it's a little bit difficult for me. It just tastes great. It's just, there's loads going on. For me, weirdly, on my scale, the complexity's a little bit further along. So I'd love to know what one of the complex ones tastes like. So Pete, if you're watching, who's the blender, let me know what's complex, because this is really confusing me. 46.1%, yeah. Drinks easy, is an absolute joy. Aye, so I said I don't really do review videos. I just thought, I was sipping this after making that last video, and I thought, you know what, I need to spread the word a wee bit on this, because it's just different. It's just really good. Woven whiskey. Big thumbs up. All the best, guys. Cheers.